This show just keeps getting better and better. Alien Earth, Episode 5, No One in Space, and we all know what the second portion of that saying is. This episode, we have ourselves a flashback episode. You could kind of say it's a filler episode, but you know what? I'm glad they did a flashback to see what happened on the Maginot in episode 1 and what was the reasoning why it crashed on Earth. We know the xenomorph got out, but we get to see everything in its entirety in this episode. And this episode was very good. It might be my favorite of the season so far. It was very good. Start off, we are on the Maginot. Morrow and the crew are going about their business, and then bam, start off on the Maginot. Morrow's like the main focus in this episode. We follow him. He wakes up from sleep. Something has happened. There was a fire on the ship, and then he walks into a med bay. The captain of the ship, as well as another crew member, are incapacitated because they have face huggers attached to them. We don't know yet how the face huggers broke out, but they have broken out. And one of the people in the episode tried cutting off the tail on the face hugger to get it off the face of the captain. We all know that wasn't going to end well. Why? Because, the acid blood from the Xenos and the face huggers. Kind of sets up how this episode's going to be. They show a lot. There's a lot of stuff in this episode where if you get a little squeamish easily, make sure you're not eating and drinking during this episode, because there's some grossness in here, and it is very, very cool. As I said, Morrow is our main character, and I've just got to say, Morrow has become probably my favorite character in the show. I think him and Kirsch are my two favorite characters out of the season so far. And Morrow, what they do with his story and give you some backstory of what's going on, it just adds so much depth to his character. You actually start to feel him, because during the episode, he's sitting having a cigar as all this stuff is unraveling on the ship, and he starts looking at memoirs and notes and drawings that he has from his daughter. And then you come to find out that his daughter passed away in a fire while he was out on this mission. So you kind of feel for Morrow. You understand why he's got like a lack of humanity to him. But I like the backstory that they gave him with his daughter. It adds some humanity to the machine and just gives him depth to character. And he, like I said, he's become one of my favorite in the show. He does a very good job. In every scene he's in, he pretty much steals the show. We have scenes with Mr. Tang in here being creepy the whole time. So in this episode, Morrow's looking at security footage of how the captain and the other crew member got the face huggers on their face. And while he's looking through the security cameras, he notices that somebody opened up one of the containment boxes that was hosting a face hugger egg. You don't see who it is, so this episode turns into a old-fashioned whodunit. We're playing Clue in this episode, so the episode in that aspect does slow down a little bit as you're trying to uncover who is sabotaging the ship. It brings a nice, creepy feeling to the whole thing, because you can't trust anybody on the ship as of right now. There are many scenes in here too where we are spending time with the specimens. The specimens get their shine in this episode, and that was really what I was looking forward to, because we've seen a little bit, especially with the eyeball alien, but you get to see how these aliens work and how they have a high intelligence, and you get to see that in this episode, and it's very cool. Yep, the scene where the one scientist lady is working with the ticks and the eyeball alien, the way the tick opens up its little containment jar thingy and goes and lays eggs, larvae, whatever these little tadpole looking things were in this lady's water, was wild. What also was wild was the eyeball alien. I couldn't tell, was that thing trying to help the lady, or was it causing a distraction so she couldn't pay attention? That thing is so smart. That alien is so terrifying, and is such a cool concept. I love what they did. And this freaking tick basically farts in this lady's water. You see all these little like larvae, little tadpole, like its offspring, just swimming in their water. And you are waiting for her to go and drink her water. It's nasty. She does it while they're sitting at the table and there's a meeting, and the new captain, I don't know her name, but she's the one who had the romantic relations with the captain, and Morrow knows about this and called her out on it. And while she's talking and starting to yell at everybody because one of the mechanics is taking this kind of lightly, you kind of think maybe he's the one that's sabotaging. She goes and takes a drink of her water. You're grossed out because you know you can see them swimming as she's drinking. And then also the guy, the mechanic, the younger kid who was kind of joking around eating food while they were all talking about everything that's going on. He goes and takes a huge swig of the water because he put too much hot sauce on his food. It's just like, oh, you know where this is going. The lady was starting to feel kind of ill, it looked like, during this scene as well. Like she was starting to feel sick in her stomach. We were already sick, and it gets way better from there on out. There is some issues with this episode. Once our specimens start breaking out because they know the Xeno's on board and they're trying to look for the Xeno and just all this chaos is ensuing, the way the eyeball alien breaks out, it kind of made me upset because we have a scene where at the beginning of the show, they placed the captain in cryosleep and froze him, trying to stop the facehugger, and they were going to keep him in cryosleep until they got back somewhere and could, put him in a containment thing and try to get this thing off. The chest burster comes out. We don't see it, but an alarm goes off on the ship to let everyone on the crew know that something broke the cryosleep containment. And there's alarms going off everywhere. Understandable, you would want to know. Then we go, and how this eyeball alien breaks itself out of containment, very clever on its part, but the way the lady puts it up on the wall and make sure it's secure, they have a little green light and red light, and she makes a point in the episode like, hey, don't be worried, those are green, that means they're contained, we're good. Well, as they leave, this thing goes red, and the alarm that goes off to let the crew know that, hey, this thing is not secure, it is more quiet than like a phone vibration. So I have a nitpick with that. The consistency with that is kind of crazy. Why would something leaving cryosleep give off more of a alarm than, super classified alien specimens that are very dangerous, we know nothing about, barely gives off anything. There's no warning on the ship. It's just a red light, and then this thing breaks out. And there's no alarm to let it know that a species has broken containment. Big nitpick I have with the episode. Now, then we go into a scene where the one mechanic, he's working with the older mechanic that's always doing chew tobacco. He starts throwing up blood out of nowhere. They bring him into a med bay. They're scanning what's going on. And they're just like, he's losing blood and we don't know why. They open him up and you see like 6 ticks walking around inside on his esophagus, like sucking the blood. It's a gross scene. One guy tries to pull him off, pulls it off, and I don't know if it was the tick or something else, released like this gas, and this gas killed everybody in the room. While this is happening, the Xeno finally makes its appearance while Mr. Tang was being interviewed by Morrow, because Morrow thinks it's him that is one that's sabotaging the ship. The Xeno is stalking, sitting above in the vent. We get the drool coming down, hits Mr. Tang in the head. He looks up, we see the Xeno, and then bam, this is where the episode climax starts to really take off. We also find out around this time that Boy Cavalier is the one who set up the sabotage. One of the crew members, he made a deal with one of the crew members to sabotage. So now we figured out who it is. Morrow's on the lookout and going to find this guy. Meanwhile, while all this chaos is happening, so it's just building up this complete crap storm that's happening. We get scenes where we finally see all the specimens are loose. They're running rampant on the ship. The eyeball alien breaks containment, starts going around the ship, while the captain at the point is being chased by the Xeno. This whole episode's been dealing with like the trauma that's going on and the fact that Mother's telling her, don't worry about the crew, get these specimens back to Earth, and she's having to deal with it. And you can tell she doesn't want to go through with it, and Morrow ends up taking over. We have a chase scene with her and the Xeno. Gotta say, the Xeno would have caught up to this lady so quick. There's no way she's outrunning that thing. So I'm calling bull crap on that. A little bit of a nitpick, but what comes next is pretty cool. She runs in a room, tries to weld this door shut with the main mechanic who's there. She's trying to get help from him. Nope. Not getting help from him. He's been taken over by the eyeball alien. Eyeball alien knocks her out. Meanwhile, the Xeno gets in at this point, and those two start having a fight. And the fight between the eyeball alien and the Xeno was very cool. Eyeball alien starts trying to come out of the human, tries to attach itself to the Xeno. Now, could you imagine if that thing got control of the Xeno more? That thing would be unstoppable. And this is where we get into how the episode starts, where we know Morrow was talking to Mother, letting her know they're crashing into Earth. The Xeno comes in and he hides real quick in like the little collision part of the ship. Episode ends with Morrow talking to Yutani talking about how her family really liked him and whatnot. And he was talking about he's going to kill Boy Cavalier and all this stuff. just really good. The espionage throughout this show has been great. Like the battle between these two companies, Prodigy and Utani, very well done. Overall, really like this episode. I have loved this series so far. Got a little gripes and nitpicks. Other than that, I've had so much fun. If you have not started watching Alien Earth, I suggest binging it. If I had the choice, I'd binge the whole series. It's kind of upsetting that it's a weekly release, but on the bright side, it gives me something to talk about every week with you all. So I'm going to go ahead and give my rating this episode. I'm giving Alien Earth Episode 5, No One in Space, 8 out of 10. I thought it was that good. The espionage, the lore with seeing the specimens and seeing how they act and being studied. Just seeing the IQ of the eyeball alien in particular. So well done. Looking forward to see where it goes. We got 3 episodes left. So I'm sure the action's really going to ramp up. I didn't watch the trailer for the next episode. I usually don't because I don't want to be spoiled. So I'm sure we're going to end up back up at Prodigy. We're going to see Xeno come into play, whether it be Wendy's brother finally going to get incubated. And I can't wait to just see the chaos that we know is coming. So 8 out of 10, episode 5. As always, if you like the content, leave a like, subscribe. We're on the path to 10K subs, everybody. Thank you all so much for the support you've been giving the channel. Be a friend, tell a friend, come join the cove because the water's fine, baby.